2020 was something which was uncalled for. And after our graduation and completing my studies, I run this company with my sister, who's a partner in the company. And unfortunately, we lost our mom 2013, is when we took over the business professionally. Uh, I think with my dad's help and a lot of mentors here and there, we sort of managed to sail 8 years, and we did not take a break. 2020 is when we realized that, first 2 weeks of the pandemic, we were like, this is the government called for vacation. We're not going to feel bad about not, giving out orders or not picking up calls, and then we are going to sleep. I slept right through 15, 20 days, and then April end is when the worries started kicking in, because there's a lot of perishable stock. There's almonds, there's chocolates. That is how it is with the industry, and the entire industry sort of came together as to, what should we do about this, because it's not going to end in April end or May or even a year later. And I think after that, we started brainstorming. Delivery started happening in Bombay, so we sort of took delivery orders, but people were still skeptical to order anything from out. So the business was about 1% from what it was last year if we compare date to date. Uh, we brought in new ideas, so I think a lot of innovation happened. Luckily, not if because of immediate family who was not affected in the time of the lockdown. I think we were in the space of mind to sort of then bring in change. We started Coco Home Labs for all the home entrepreneurs, who want to do something in baking or something like that. So we started taking classes, which also we did not like, because we don't like digital way of teaching chocolate, but then we took on that. So there are a lot of change, good and bad, which happened.
A lot of changes happened. We couldn't shoot our films. We had to push a lot of projects of ours. And the most important thing that we had to adapt to the new reality, and just to understand, can we still create in this new world? Can we still shoot? Can I shoot while not being on the set? Can I interact with my actress through, let's say, Zoom shoots? And something that I thought I wouldn't ever be able to do, because I'm very, like, when I direct on the set, for me it's very important to be in touch with my actors, almost like physically. I can explain them something by just like holding their shoulders, like, this is how I want it, So I like this feeling texture and like of almost like clothes of the actors, because I feel there's so many different ways how we can tell another person what we're trying to do or to feel or to say, right? And of course I couldn't do that. But then we had certain projects. We had a couple of music videos. We had a couple of ads that we were executing, and then I just realized that doing it through Zoom, it's in a way new form of shooting. It's different. I also enjoyed it, but it taught us that we are adaptable. That no matter how much I will crave for being on the set, I still can do the same thing through this virtual reality. Maybe it will be worse or better, I don't know, but it will be different. And I think we need just to be ready for this difference. And as creative people, we need to adapt to any new changes which are happening.
I was so pumped in 2021, where I was like, financial year starts from April, right? So the entire planning happens in March, and that's exactly, so the entire March went in planning as to where we are taking the brand from April. And there was just so much in the pipeline in terms of like new designs, growth, marketing, sales, getting the team bigger, because now the pandemic has happened. So again, it's just me, and since we have started, it's only been me. Like, of course, we work with a lot of people, but no, we don't have employees. We don't have permanent employees. So there were like so many plans into the picture, and then the pandemic happened, and we were like, okay, it's like we have to take a pause now. And for a while, I was clueless, and I was like, I think most of us thought that this will last for a month or two, like the naive fools that we were. So that's what I thought, and I was like, okay, 1 month can pass. I can probably manage, and just like sit patiently for a month. And then the reality started hitting, where we were all like, okay, we are in this for the long term, and now we have to adapt ourselves like humans usually do, and find ways to kind of sustain ourselves through this time. And I think that's when I was like, okay, as of then, it's all about priorities, right? Like the first priority was to keep the cash flow coming. So we started introduction of gift cards where where we trusted our community, we trusted our loyal customers, where we were like, why don't you buy gift cards from us at a discounted price, and eventually you can shop from us once we are open for deliveries. Now we are an entire online delivery based company, so deliveries were shut, nobody was shopping from us. So I think the entire April and May went like that. Like I still remember my sheets, which were like empty. Like there were no sales records, and I was like, how do I deal with this? But I was like, there is no option, right? We don't have an option at that point, and except for to like wait it out, upskill. Of course, then I started working on back end things, like maybe learn more about marketing and like my inventory management and all of those things. And then as soon as delivery started in June, it was like a huge flow of like people just feeling that liberty where they can't go out, but they can entertain themselves in form of online shopping.
So after the first month of like figuring things out and definitely the work for us at the studio was shortened a lot. Like there were like a lot of projects which got stalled and everything. So the first month, and we had to shift places. So we worked from our studio, and then we had to like the remote. Since then, actually, the entire team has been working remotely. So we had to figure everything out, shift like logistically and everything. And then after I think 1 or 2 months, we realized that okay, like now we have all this time, and why not like let's go back to whatever we thought we wanted to do, and but you couldn't do for whatever reason, your clients, projects, whatnot. So I guess like we took most of the time that in that sense. I personally also took most of the time in that regard, and kind of started focusing on what I wanted to learn and what I always like thought I should be doing if I had the time. So for me, that was not such a big change. It was just like my routine went for a toss, and then it took me some time to get back to it. But yeah, it was as far as work is concerned, it was an easy transition. And just that like I mean, it did take a bit hit. Initially we were like, oh, we also needed to look at work, and kind of to sustain our business we had to work more aggressively. But at the same time I also thought, why not like chase other people for this, and why not like kind of take the time, think about what we really want to do probably when the lockdown is over, what kind of stuff we want to put out, and that's what it did.
Being a freelancer, it was never, I never took the opportunity of taking a long break from work. Whenever there was an interesting project coming up, I was tempted to take it up. So that's how it just kept going on. And also from a very hectic social life, being in Bombay and living in close proximity to a lot of friends, and it was a very busy social life and a busy work life. So just as the pandemic happened, it completely shifted the focus to just being indoors and focusing on the bare minimum or the basics. So I picked up reading. I finished a lot of books which were lying in my library, which I did pick up for a long time. And then, as I said, I picked up doodling again. And also it gave me time to just sit back and reassess my work life and to see exactly where I'm headed, which I really wanted to do for a long time. So the lockdown was kind of it was a in disguise. It was a blessing in disguise for me.
One thing that got changed was that I do a lot of wedding cakes and engagement cakes. So the size has reduced from 10 kgs, 5 kgs. It is now 2 kgs, 3 kgs. So I'm into high-end designing. And for me, the commercials work at a certain kgs because you cannot inflate the price much. So what you do is take a bigger cake and I'll put in as many work hours. But the change that came was now I'm putting the same work hours for a much smaller cake because I understand that for a bride, it's a very important day. The memory stays for life. And now they don't want to spend that much for 50 people. So that mindset had to change and the order size is smaller. I also expanded into gifts because people now do giveaways. They don't invite people, but they send gifts. So I thought to cover up that lost business, maybe I can give pocket-friendly gift solutions where if you have a wedding at home, but you can send this to 150 to 100 people.
We started pan India courier deliveries also of bakery hampers. And third ways, how it was changed was that I had to be much more accessible and much more responsible for my team, their health, their safety issues, and also the for a business owner and entrepreneur who has a team to manage, there was a lot more pressure of keep paying the salaries and the EMIs and managing the raw material in a much more better way because the sizes got reduced.
I think for artists, at least of my nature, where earlier as a freelancer, I would largely depend on events to happen for the year to really kickstart. You know, you have India Art Fair in the beginning in Feb, and then you have a bundle of things happening. Then there's April Fool's Fest, brands doing things. There's so much that I was relying on there, because a lot of things that I do, murals with something, or very event-based work actually, all of that kind of went out the window. And with, I think, the full-time job coming in, I think for the first time I was doing a 9 to 5 proper hours, getting into a routine. It was good in a way because I didn't think I was capable of being in that kind of routine. But yeah, it really pushed me to plan better and develop the stamina to work long hours at a stretch. Because as a freelancer, you can still have that autonomy to kind of say, okay, you know what, I need to refresh and I will come back to this. But over here, it's like, got to stay at it, got to complete those hours and check out. And I think that grind was good in a way.